Can you dub in some like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo?
The 5 requirements of participation. Hello and welcome to the 2016 Falls Creek orientation video. We have this orientation video so that we have an opportunity to give you some crucial information about camp so that when you become a part of the registration process, you'll know more what you need to do in order to be with us this summer. I want to start first of all with the 5 requirements of coming to camp. And before I do that, I know that sometimes the intern or the ministry assistant or secretary, or maybe even a leadership student is the person who is tasked with watching this video. But it is absolutely crucial for the youth pastor or the group leader to be the one who views this video, as that's one of the 5 requirements of participation. So please go get that person, and we'll wait. All right, we're back, and so now we're going to go on with our 5 requirements of participation for camp. First of all, your church must be a Southern Baptist church or an evangelical church that agrees with the basic beliefs of Southern Baptists. You can find those on our Scopus website or also inside your lead sponsor book. As I mentioned, your group leader must be the one who watches this orientation video and is responsible for the information contained in it. And right after this video, there is a short online quiz that that person needs to complete in order to go on with the registration process. The third of the 5 requirements of participation is that the group leader must complete and adhere to all registration forms, including the background check compliance form and the dress code and code of conduct church agreement form. Now, let me say a quick word about that dress code and code of conduct church agreement form. That is a form that must be signed by the senior pastor, so make sure and get his signature before you come to camp on that form. Make sure you've done that before you bring those forms to registration. Your group must attend the morning and evening worship services, as well as participate in morning quiet times according to the schedule, and then also the in-cabin Bible study in the morning, and then a evening wrap-up, which is at 10:15 at night. And then lastly, your group must adhere to the dress code and code of conduct. And you'll probably hear that several times within this video, but we want to make sure that every student who signs off on their registration form does adhere to the dress code and the code of conduct, and that includes sponsors and any guests that you may invite during the week. So make sure your guests are well aware of that dress code and code of conduct as well.
This just in, registration at Falls Creek. All right, we're going to take a few minutes and talk about registration, both online and on-site, just some things to remember. The first thing that we want to point out is that every church bringing a group to Falls Creek must register and pay separately. Even if you're sharing a cabin or if you're cooperating with another church to do camp, which we would advise, that would be a great way for you to maximize your efforts in a week at Falls Creek for camp. But we ask you to register separately, even if you're doing that, for the following reasons. One is for an accurate accounting of registration fees. 2, so we can have accurate records of which BGCO and non-BGCO churches are present each week. The third reason, and maybe the most important, is for camper safety. Individual group registration helps Falls Creek know who is on grounds each week in the case of an emergency. So if someone calls, we know where that student is staying, we know that they're on grounds, and there's no confusion in communication with parents that may be calling in. We bring this up because it's been a problem. There have been some issues in the past with this, so we're just trying to clear up confusion. So make sure that if you are bringing another group or another group is within your group, that you're registering that church separately when you come to on-site registration and as you prepare for camp.
Yeah, it really helps your day on Monday on on-site registration if you've done that separately, which means you need to have those registration forms filed separately for the different churches that are in the cabin. You can pay all together when you get there, and you will just call up the 2 or 3 churches that might be in your cabin, but make sure that you've registered each one individually. And as Todd said, for camper safety, and kind of to describe that, if there's a church that's from a different town that's in there with your group, the mom that calls may reference that church, and it's not been registered as that church, has been registered as your church. That's a problem because immediately we want to say, we don't have that church registered. That's not a good thing. So we ask every church to register separately. I see there's a brand new schedule at camp. All right, let me go over this year, a brand new morning schedule. We're so fortunate this year to have some new facilities on grounds. The Mathena Family Event Center will be available to us. We have the new Thompson Family Lodge and also the Jordan Welcome Center. And so we'll have the opportunity to split up in different groups during our teaching times in the morning. So I kind of want to go go over that schedule with you. This schedule will be in your lead sponsor book. It will also be in the student materials, the student book that everyone will receive at camp once you arrive. It'll also be online, and you'll be able to check this out there. But I kind of want to go over it so you get the feel of what's going on in the mornings, as it is brand new this year. At 8:15 in the morning, we'll have breakfast. That's on the schedule. Of course, churches in your individual cabins, you can adjust that time a little bit as you want to, but we want everybody to then at 9 o'clock be participating in quiet times, and that's all students, middle school and high school, doing quiet times at 9 o'clock. We're going to ask sponsors, at least one sponsor per group, to be over to the chapel at 9:20, as we'll have our morning sponsor meeting. That's a daily meeting that we have with sponsors. That'll begin, in the past that's been at 9:05, and so starting this year that'll be at 9:20, and those doors will open at 9:15 for you to get into that meeting. At 9:25, the doors will open on the tabernacle for all people to begin to move that way and to become a part of the service. And what you're going to do is you're going to sit in the seats that you had the night before. So the seats that you'll sit in the morning time are the ones that you had in the service the night before. So just remember that. And so all students will move over there together, middle school and high school together. And starting at 9:45, they'll have their morning worship service. At 10:10, the students who are part of middle school will be dismissed to walk out the back doors, the south lobby of the tabernacle, and head over to the event center, because those who are going into the 7th and 8th grades will meet together in that group over at the event center. So we'll walk them over to the event center. At that same time, the graduates of 2016 will be dismissed to go back into the chapel in the back hall in the tabernacle for next chapter, which is led by our BCM leaders. And so we'll do those dismissals at that time, which will take place at 10:10, and then at 10:25 we'll get 15 minutes for that transition. At 10:25 we'll begin teaching at all age groups. So next chapter, the high school, which remains there in the tabernacle, and then also the middle schoolers who had just gone over to the event center will begin their teaching time, and that will last until 11:10. We're going to give you a little extra time after that morning time, because it seems like you always move right out of the tabernacle into your morning Bible study time. But to give students a little more time in between, we're going to start those morning in-cabin Bible studies this year at 11:45. And so lunch will begin at 12:30, which is on the schedule we had for several years. And so we moved that back to 12:30, so you'll have 45 minutes for that in-cabin Bible study. And then recreation will begin at 1:30 like normal. So you'll see that schedule inside. You can find it online as well, as we'll have the lead sponsor book online so that you can look at those materials. But you can find that schedule there. It'll also be in that sponsor book, obviously, and then in the materials that you'll get at camp in the student book.
This just in. New rec venues this summer at Falls Creek. First of all, kickball, which we've had in the past, has been moved. It's going to be moved to the south end of the rec fields, and so make sure you look for and point your students towards the kickball area that will be at the south end of the rec fields. Also, we'll have ultimate frisbee. There will be an ultimate frisbee field that will be available for open play, and it's located between the volleyball courts and the south end kickball area. So make sure you look for ultimate frisbee this summer. And also we'll have an extreme cornhole game that will be a giant version of the popular tailgating game using water balloon launchers, water balloons. It will be open for play Tuesday through Friday from 2 to 4, and will be located just west of the kickball venue. So at the south end of the rec area, you'll have ultimate frisbee, you will have kickball, as well as extreme cornhole. Note that water balloons will be provided by the Falls Creek staff and are not allowed on grounds except for at this venue.
Don't want to get carried away.
So
but it's going to be a lot of fun down there.
Bringing water balloons, saying, "Oh, we're just on our way to the cornhole game," and you accidentally launch one somewhere on ground. So
Not good.
Just provided by Falls Creek staff in that venue. So make sure that you make your students aware of that. It'll be a great opportunity as a walk-up element. Also, you'll want to make sure that you check out Open Play Volleyball this year. One of the benefits arising from last year's floods, so we're going Pollyanna on this and just saying, hey, what did we gain from those floods? What good thing happened from all that mess? Is that our volleyball courts are completely remade this year, and we're adding 2 courts just for open play. The open play courts will be located at the southern end of the courts, and so make sure that you look for that throughout the week that your students can participate in at any time as a walk-up element there. Rules for basketball, ultimate frisbee, and open play volleyball will be posted at each venue. And that's something that's a little new because there haven't been really rules associated with that. So if you can make sure that you point your students towards the posted rules, that will help all of that play down in the rec field area go a lot more smoothly. So check out the new rec options and the rec venues at Falls Creek this summer.
The offering has been... You can't change the offering. Keeping in that theme of things that are new for this year, we're going to slightly change the offering that takes place. Obviously, every year at Falls Creek, we receive an offering one night of the week, and typically that's been on Thursday. We're changing that this year and making that offering on a Wednesday night. The offering will continue to be the My5 offering. We're going to ask students to commit to give $5 to the offering on a Wednesday night this year. That will again help to mobilize students through the Go Students Ministry to go on our trips in 2017, and it will also go to help support our One Life project through the International Mission Board that we are selecting. And this year, the one that we've adopted is the One Blanket Project. It's blankets for those who are in the mountain regions of Lesotho. It's a country, small country, it's right in the middle of South Africa. And you'll find out more about that project by going online to onelifematters.org, or you can look in the sponsor book and find out more information about how those blankets are used. It's a cultural item, really, that helps communicate with the people, and it gives our missionaries the opportunity to speak about the gospel with those in that region. Also this year, we have a difference in our program fee, which is the program fee is something that's charged to non-BGCO churches. So if you're a BGCO church, you're in the clear on this one, as you give regularly for the programming at Falls Creek through the cooperative program. Non-BGCO churches don't have that opportunity, so actually they pay a programming fee. And we've changed that. The last few years, it's just been a flat $200. Here's how that's changing this year. That fee will remain at $200 for those who bring 1 to 49 participants. If you have 50 to 99 participants, it's $250, and 100 plus students or actual campers with your group, then you will have a fee of $300. So it's $200, $250, or $300, depending on the size of group that you bring.
Breaking news, there will be breakouts at Falls Creek. Another exciting thing that we're going to have again at Falls Creek is just another full line of breakouts throughout the week. Breakout topics, times, and locations can be found in your lead sponsor book and will be featured in the student books you receive at camp as well. So a lot of good opportunities for students to go a little deeper, to get a little more information, a little more training, a little more spiritual development throughout their week at camp. Also, for many years, we've offered students the opportunity to spend some significant time with God in addition to the other times that we have available to worship and to study and to read and to pray through the 1 hour of solitude. And this year, the 1 hour of solitude will be an interactive station location at the prayer garden. And so students will simply go to the prayer garden and follow the directions on the signs to spend 1 hour in prayer, praise, and contemplation so they can grow deeper in their faith. It's a great opportunity for students through the 1 hour of solitude.
There will not be one walking path at Falls Creek this summer. There will be two. Last summer, we created a walking path to Prices Falls, and all the buses that ran to the recreation field ran from Prices Falls only to the rec fields. This summer, we have added a new walking path, so there are actually going to be two paths that lead down to Prices Falls, and we've added one bus route. We're going to run one bus on the main campus that's going to come straight out of Prices Falls into the parking lot right in front of the Jordan Welcome Center. And so it'll be at that, basically at the bottom of the hill below the icy stands down there in front of the Jordan Welcome Centers, where that one bus will pick up students and take them down to Prices Falls and then on to the rec fields. So you want to look for that bus stop. Let me tell you where the other walking path, well, the first one from last year, in case you weren't there with us last year, is straight out the north gate, turn right, go down, and right before the rock bridge, you'll see the signs that lead you to that walking path. You'll go off to your left across the road and on that walking path that leads straight down into Prices Falls. The other walking path is when you walk out across the street from the Kennedy Lodge, which is located across the street from the Jordan Welcome Center. There's a little bridge that goes over the creek that's known as the Nunny Bridge. You'll cross that bridge and then turn to your left and head down in front of First Baptist Church Durant's cabin and stay on that road all the way to the end of the road. At the end of that road, there is a path that you'll just continue to follow as it leads right down into Price's Falls. When you come out of that path onto the road, you'll actually be on the road there and have to walk on that road just a little bit down into Price's Falls. Just be careful when the students get on the road to remind them to watch out for traffic. We'll have somebody there to watch, obviously, to take care of them, but they will walk straight down into Price's Falls, and at Price's Falls, they can catch a bus to the rec fields.
As a final note, I want to point out that there's been a change in the lead sponsor book as well as the sponsor book essentials. The in-cabin Bible study materials and the evening devotion materials that you can utilize for your week at camp that are provided to you through programming are only printed this year in the sponsor book essentials, or you can find them online at scopus.org. So make sure that you, as you're going through your lead sponsor book, you make note of that. It'll point you to the sponsor book essentials, and you can find those materials printed there. So we've come to the end of this orientation information, and I just want to say at the completion of this video, you'll be directed to a short 5-question quiz. When you've successfully completed that quiz, you'll be redirected to the online registration site so you can continue with registering your group. You want to make sure that when you get there, you have your cabin code available that you can easily get by calling the Falls Creek Conference Center office and telling them what week you'll be there and what cabin your group will be staying in for your camp weeks.
And that's a wrap.
Should have made Nick do this.
You're never going to watch this. All right, see you guys.